I got my braces off. What is up, guys? It's Chief here, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about an author who I have a weird relationship with. I used to really not like this guy, but now I'm starting to fall in love with his works. And that author, of course, we can probably see from the title, is William Shakespeare. Oh, good old Bill! William Shakespeare is an author who I started reading in my freshman year of high school, and I used to not like this guy at all. But then after being in a Shakespeare play myself, and actually, reading a ton of his plays, I started to realize the brilliance of this author. I started to realize that maybe he may not be the best author of all time, but he certainly is the most beautiful in language. Because his language is it has to click with you. You can't just hop into a Shakespeare play. You just can't read it like this. No, you have to. And if you ask me, the best way to read Shakespeare is read it with the script and at the same time listen to an audio version of it, because then you can still use your imagination on imagining what's going on. It's just voices will guide you, and it'll help make you understand the story more, and that's what I really like about it. So, anyway, in fact, fun fact, Shakespeare plays are the only type of books that I listen to audio versions of. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Let's get into this. Okay, so first up, I'm going to talk about, before I go into a little more discussion about Shakespeare, I'm going to tell you about the plays that I've read. And the first play that I read, I'm not going to go in order, but I'm going to start with the first one, and then just go on from there, is Romeo and Juliet. I hate this play. This is the reason why I initially thought Shakespeare was awful, because even as a freshman in high school, I hated this play. I thought I didn't get with the language, it didn't click with me. I thought the characters were absolutely annoying, not likable in the slightest. And also, it just was a bad story. I thought there was just so many plot holes in it, and there's so many ways that this couldn't have been a tragedy. It's just, are you kidding me? Just Romeo and Juliet, it's just a very badly done play, and if you have any interest in reading it, yes, you can check it out, but it's my least favorite play of all time, and it's one of the reasons why I didn't like Shakespeare at first. And then I read Taming of the Shrew, which wasn't much better. It really wasn't. I had to study it in my sophomore year of high school, and it didn't click with me, guys. It really didn't click with me. So, I just couldn't really get into it. I just couldn't get it. Just couldn't. I thought it's really sexist, guy. Oh my goodness, it was really sexist. Now, I know it was written in a time where women weren't as appreciated as they are nowadays, but oh my goodness, it was sexist. Oh my goodness, and I just spit everywhere. And this is what you get when braces come off. But yeah, Taming of the Shrew just wasn't for me. It just, the story, the characters, the setting, just the language, just didn't click with me. And then, in fact, I'm just going to pull it out from the pile. The third Shakespeare play that I read was Hamlet. This is my favorite play of all time. At first, my favorite play was Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett, and I still love that play. I'm still huge into Samuel Beckett. But this, the language, the story, the characters, Hamlet, Ophelia, Claudia, oh my goodness. Everything about this play is so good! Oh, I love this play there's no barrier to how much I love this play. This is the first play that really clicked with me from Shakespeare, and it made me start getting really interested in Shakespeare. So, Hamlet, I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I may do a whole video on Hamlet, just not analyzing it and just going a little more in depth about it, because this play definitely deserves a review. It's absolutely fantastic. It's one of the most famous stories of all time, and if you haven't read it, what are you doing? Go read Hamlet. It's a masterpiece. And then the next play is the final play that I don't have here with me, but it's A Midsummer Night's Dream. Yeah, I don't have a copy of A Midsummer Night's Dream besides my big, bulky, completed Shakespeare folio, whatever this thing is. But it's good. This is the play that I was in, so I'm probably just being a little too harsh on it because I've seen it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it's just, my God, it gets like if you watch a play over and over and over again, or even are in a play over and over and over again, you kind of get sick of the story. But to give it credit, it is really good. It's my personal favorite character is Bottom. Like, this is one of the greatest character casts Shakespeare has ever made, and the Bottom, guys, Bottom. Oh my goodness, Bottom. He is such a hilarious character. Like, he gets so passionate about everything. It's just so funny. Like, The Midsummer Night's Dream is, like, laugh out loud funny. It's that good. So, if you haven't read A Midsummer Night's Dream, what are you doing? Because it's A Midsummer Night's Dream. It is good. It's just not amazing like some of his other plays. So, it's actually, no, it for the longest time was my favorite comedy by Shakespeare, but then I read another one and, ooh, it was so good. Okay, but I'll talk about that later. Alright, the next play is what most critics call his masterpiece. The audiences think that Hamlet is his masterpiece, but the critics think King Lear is his masterpiece. And in ways it kind of is. But at the same time, it didn't have as much of an impact on me as Hamlet did, but at the same time, this play is absolutely phenomenal. It's a 4.5 out of 5 for me. I read it only like a week ago, and it's just so gorgeous. And look at this Pelican edition. Look at this Pelican edition. The reason why this play really got to me was that it went into themes that Shakespeare usually doesn't endeavor with. Like, if you were to describe Shakespeare's King Lear in one word, it's decay. This is pretty much the downfall of a king, and it's so well done. It's so brutal. It's so brilliant. I could easily see myself rereading this sometime in the near future. So, yeah, King Lear, just absolutely phenomenal. And also, the language in here, do I even need to say the language? It's amazing. Just flows like a majestic river, like I said last time in my last video. The next book that I'm going to be talking about, or the next play, is Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare. It wasn't my cup of tea, guys. The language is gorgeous in this, but the characters were really forgettable. My favorite character in this book was Fest, who's the fool, and he was great, or Feste, however you pronounce it, but they just refer to him as the fool, so it's just like, so we don't know, I don't know how they pronounce his name. I think they said it once and I forgot. So, the fool in this play was really well done. I thought he was a funny character. Everything else is incredibly bland. I thought this was an extremely average novel. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It just wasn't my thing, guys. It just wasn't my thing. So, but if you like William Shakespeare's comedies, this is definitely one to check out because it is one of his more popular plays. So, yeah, Twelfth Night. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. The next one is one that I really should revisit because from what I remember, the story was good and the two characters in general I really remember, and that's Othello. I read Othello and really liked it. I just didn't think it was so amazing like I thought with King Lear, Hamlet, and a couple others. But Othello is really good. It's about I don't know what the word is, like What is it? What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? More. Like, it's Othello's a black person. He's a black guy. I know that sounds really racist, but that's what it is. He's a black guy. So, and this was interestingly written. Like, it's a Shakespeare play written in, like, the 16th, 15th century, and it's about a black guy. And if you know, it was a really racist time, guys. It was a really racist time. So, this was really interesting to read. And Othello himself and Iago is how he pronounced it. I think. They were really good characters. And the performance that I saw from Othello had Kenneth Branagh in it. And Kenneth Branagh did my favorite adaptation of Hamlet. It was the thing that made me fall in love with Hamlet. And, he's such a great actor, guys. Oh my goodness. Like, Kenneth Branagh, just Othello's good. Othello is good. I like the language. Of course, it's Shakespeare. Pretty much every Shakespeare play besides Romeo and Juliet has good language from what I've read. So, yeah, Othello. I liked it. It's really all I have to say. I'm pretty much repeating myself now. And then next we have one of my all-time favorites, Julius Caesar. This was great. It was so great. This is so great. Like, I'm now wanting to read more of his histories because of this play. Like, this is so great. This is the story of Julius Caesar and his assassination and what happened after his assassination. Only it's not really that true. So, yeah, Julius Caesar, I loved it. I loved it. It just clicked with me. Shakespeare's more about being clicked with. You really have to, you can't read this like a novel. You cannot read plays like a novel. You have to just experience the story. You can't just, like, sit down and read it, like, I know I already said this one time in my video, but it's true. You can't read it like a novel. And Julius Caesar, I don't think I would have loved it as much if I didn't listen to it on audiobook. So, Julius Caesar, I loved it. So, I highly recommend it. The next one is my favorite comedy ever, just because of how dark it is. It's like, it is a comedy in the sense of it's a happy ending. But it has the feel of a tragedy all the way up to the last scene. Until the last scene, that is. And that's The Tempest. Oh my goodness. This is one of the most beautifully written things in the English language I have ever read. It is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Just the story of Prospero and his daughter living on an island is absolutely beautifully told. Like, I was crying at some point. Well, not really crying, but like, I was on the verge of tears just reading this play because of how beautiful it is. If you're going to read The Tempest, just read it for the language, if anything. The Tempest is just so good. I absolutely love this play. This is my favorite besides King Lear and Hamlet. Just read The Tempest. It's great. And the final play that I have is one that I've been really harsh on. Like, I'm definitely giving this one a reread very soon because I don't think I appreciated it as much as I should have. And that's Macbeth. I don't know, I didn't really like Macbeth when I first read it. It just wasn't my thing. But I guess now that I'm really into Shakespeare, because I read this during a time where I wasn't into Shakespeare, I was just like, Hamlet, it's amazing! And then I just read a couple other Shakespeare plays that I didn't like, so yeah, Macbeth, really, really excited to give this a reread. I'm willing to at least bump it up to a 3 out of 5 stars, so yeah, Macbeth, it looks good. And then we have 3 that I recently checked out from the library, ones that I haven't read yet, and that's The Merchant of Venice, which I'm about to read, Richard III, which is my next history, and I don't know whether this one's a history or a tragedy, but oh well, it's another one, and that is Antony and Cleopatra. So, yeah, these are 3 plays. I have heard that The Merchant of Venice is his most controversial play, and from what I've seen from, like, Taming of the Shrew, I'm terrified, but I've heard it's also really good. So, yeah, Merchant of Venice, that's pretty good. Richard III, I've heard, is one of his best, and Antony and Cleopatra is not one of his best, but I've heard it's good. So, yeah, and Shakespeare just has finally clicked with me. It's not a matter of fact. I finally realized that he may be one of the greatest writers ever. He just finally clicked with me, guys. He just did. I know I've said this a gazillion times on this video, but he just did. And I'm just going to leave it off at that note. So, that's the video. Tell me in the comments below on what you guys think of Shakespeare. And as always, I'm Mega Man Chief Fan. And I'll see you later, guys.